Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I want to say thank you so much for pushing play on this episode today. Thank you very much if you're a regular listener or a subscriber, and welcome if it's your first time listening to the show. I'm so pleased that you're here and can join us. Before I begin with our topic today, I just want to say again how much fun the masterclass was last weekend. I can't believe it's only a week ago that we were doing it at exactly this time. And the feedback was just amazing. Everybody was able to create 52 weeks of, themes and topics and know how to set it up so that posting and connecting with their audience got to be super duper easy. And there've just been some amazing reviews and testimonials that are coming through, and I was just so in love with it. And there's another masterclass coming up at the end of February. It's on Saturday, February 26th. And this next one that's coming up is all about how to connect with your perfect for your practice client. Okay. And if you're somebody who loathes the idea of talking about avatars and talking about ideal clients, and you don't like doing all of the demographics and saying, oh, my ideal client is 35 to 50 and she does this and she earns this and then this masterclass is absolutely for you, because you know me, we're going to take it deeper. And you also know me that I've got a very different spin on things. And I believe that I can help you find ways of not only identifying, but connecting with the perfect for your practice client. And so if you'd like to come along, please do. To attend the masterclasses, it's just $47. If you don't register and you don't attend and you don't come along, but you decide later on, maybe I should have, and maybe I would like to access that. You absolutely can. You can purchase the bundle on the website for $127, and you'll see in there everything that's included. So it's usually better to come along to the live ones if you're bootstrapping than it is to purchase a recording afterwards, but totally your call. If you're interested in connecting with your identifying with your perfect for your practice client, I highly recommend you press pause on the podcast right now, jump down to the show notes and reserve your place. We had so many people want to attend last time that now we've increase the number of seats to 30. So hopefully there'll be space for everybody this time. If not, I will just run it again, so don't stress. Plus, if you don't want to attend the live, you can purchase the bundle later on. It's not a problem. So yes, I'm super excited about that. And the other thing that I'm super excited about that happened this week was, how we have the group online called the Australian Counsellors in Private Practice Online. Well, that group reached over 1,000 members. I can't remember if it was this week or last week. But the other really cool thing that happened this week was I have taken over the admin for the Counsellors Connect Australia group. So if you're in that group, I'm so pleased that we get to work together and we're going to get to know each other. Do jump in and introduce yourself if we haven't met yet. Feel free to jump in there and do a post and just tag me and say, "G'day, Brooklyn, nice to meet you. This is me, this is what I do, this is where I'm at, and this is what I want some help with," because that will help me just ensure that you're getting everything that you need from that group. The other thing is, with the Counsellors Connect group and the ACPPO group, sort of coming together. Well, they're not really coming together, but, I'm the admin of both of those groups. That's the largest kind of group in the whole of Australia for counselling. So I am so pleased now that we have this space and we can all connect and we can all support each other. I'm committed to shifting the vibe of the Counsellors Connect Australia group. I'm really dedicated to reducing toxicity, reducing animosity, reducing us and them, all of that sort of stuff. So some of the group rules you may have noticed have been tweaked a little bit to reflect that. And as we're on this transition, I will absolutely be keeping an eye on comments and things like that, because I really want this big group to be a place where everybody feels like they can be seen and heard and acknowledged, and also speak freely, but with kindness and with respect. Okay, so if you're in that group and you see something that I've missed, please feel free. I encourage you, tag me in it. That's all you need to do. You don't have to say what the concern is. Either report it to me or tag me in it so that I can deal with it. I want to get on top of this and really tidy it up and really clean it up so it is a beautiful space that you love to spend time in. Okay, so there's that. I know, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. We've got the best lives, don't we? Okay, and speaking of best lives, today I want to talk with you about tracking in private practice. Now, wait. Don't click out yet, because we're going to link this to manifesting. Okay, there we go. I got you back now, right? So this is one of the things that comes up very rarely in both groups. Both the ACPPO and Counsellors Connect. It comes up very rarely compared to other topics. But I think that happens because there are a bunch of us that just don't know how to do it. We don't think it's a thing, or we don't think it's really relevant, should apply to our business. Maybe because we're a sole trader, or maybe because we're just starting out, or maybe because no one ever really spoke to us about it. And here's why it's important that you have an understanding of intention with your private practice. It's because the intention is going to provide the direction for your business. And I know not all of you want the $1 million practice. And I know so many of you are values-driven practitioners. And so what I want you to do is really be open this episode to the idea of using intention with your tracking so that you can experience more of the values that drive your practice, right? That's what we're linking this into. So you might remember on previous podcast how we explored, like the bright, shiny values. And then we also had a look, didn't we, at the shadow values. And so our bright, shiny values are the ones that, we're happy to post about on our website. We're happy to talk about them. Some common ones include helping others, not judging, being authentic, those sorts of things, right? But we also have these shadow values, and the term shadow values was coined by Ben Harvey. And since then, there've been all sorts of different versions of shadow values come out. But basically, the shadow value is the flip side. It's the other side of that bright, shiny value. But we don't talk about it because we believe that maybe it's not okay. Maybe we might be perceived in a way that's unwanted if we talk about it. And I want you to understand what your shadow values are for the very simple reason that they are not bad, but they are just as powerful when it comes to manifesting, when it comes to seeing what you want to see in your private practice as your regular bright, shiny values. So for example, some people might say, I have a value of freedom. Like, I really want to be free. I really want to have that freedom. Well, the shadow value of freedom is choice. Now, it's not a bad thing to say you want choices, and that when you increase turnover for your practice, you're going to increase the types of choices that you will then have access to, or you're going to increase the freedom that you'll have access to. Right? There's another value there of another shadow value there of being appreciated. And that kind of links back into that feminine of wanting to be seen and wanting to be heard and wanting to be acknowledged again. And so always check in that you understand not only what your values are, but what your shadow values are. And when you have understood those and you've listed them down. So if you haven't done it already, do get a pen and paper. All I want you to do is just, go within, connect with what's true for you, whether that's your inner guidance or your higher conscious or energy or God or whatever verbiage you like to use, but allow yourself to receive guidance on what your values are for your private practice now. And perhaps also what your values are for your life right now or your lifestyle right now. And don't put a time limit on this. Allow yourself to free write whatever comes up for you. And then what I want you to do is when you've done that, I want you to really tune in to what the shadow value for each of those values might be. And you will know what they are. They're the things that we feel are hard to admit even to ourselves sometimes. Like there are some, and this happens a lot with women that I've worked with, there's almost a sense of shame about talking about wanting to make money. I know it's not everybody's value, but it is when we're running a private practice, for example. When we're in business, we have to be mindful of how much turnover is coming into the practice, okay? So that will be, your finances will be a shadow value for you when you're in business. So I want you to really identify what your shadow values are. And from that space, once you have those two lists, I want you to use those to help inform what you're going to track, how you're going to track it, and why. And I'm going to help you with this now. So when I first started in private practice, I didn't track anything, right? I was working at the bulk billing medical center. I never had to market. For the longest time, I didn't have a website, nothing. I would just turn up to the medical center, pay my 30%, or they would keep the 30% from my pay rather. And it was that kind of deal. And they fill up my diary with all these bulk billing clients. And, that was how it was. Nobody ever, not even my accountant, told me that I should be tracking things for my business. In fact, it wasn't until I invested in coaching for myself that this became a thing. And then I freaked out when my coach said to me, what KPIs are you tracking? I was like, what? Don't only big businesses do that? Because, for a while there, I was the national manager for Medibank Health Solutions, and we did track KPIs there. I was also an area manager for 5 Centrelink offices, and we did track KPIs there. But in private practice, I didn't think it was a thing. I guess in my mind, I thought that's what organizations do, and I'm not one of those. I'm just me, and it's only me, so I don't need to do it. And I thought I was wiggling out of it, and isn't it great you don't have to do this in private practice? It turned out that my naivety about it was costing me the ability to feel fulfilled in my practice, because I wasn't living and breathing and experiencing and receiving all of the things that were valuable to me. Okay. And anyway, so my first business coach said to me, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set you up with a spreadsheet. And, she gave me this spreadsheet and I started tracking. But here's the thing. I didn't love it. I felt like I don't know how to use Excel spreadsheets. I'm not tech savvy. I'm not really feeling it. I still couldn't really understand at that stage why I needed to do it. And so I didn't prioritize it. I prioritized doing work that was going to bring in money to the business, right? And anyway, over time, I still kept filling out this sheet, but I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the numbers. I didn't understand the purpose behind them. Move on to the second business coach, and the second business coach asked me the same thing, what KPIs are you tracking? And so I shared my sheet, and the sheet was fine, but it wasn't really good enough in terms of, I guess, some of the finer details. It was missing some of the finer details. And so the spreadsheet got expanded, and then there was more data for me to track, and this became arduous for me. To be honest with you, it became arduous for me. It became something that I wanted to avoid, that I was very resistant about. And again, it was because I hadn't understood or grasped fully why this was so important. For whatever reason, I was understanding, it's a thing that I should be doing, like business coaches are telling me I should be doing this, but why was it feeling uncomfortable and wrong? So then I started thinking to myself, all right, I'm going to start linking this back into the spiritual side of things. And here I'm not talking about my tarot cards or anything like that. I'm talking about doing that inner work. And so what I did was I sat down and I asked myself, why is it important for me to track things? And how can I link tracking with something that I love and that I already embody and that I already value? And for me, that was manifesting. And so once I had the framework of manifesting to, overlay tracking data in my private practice, it suddenly became enjoyable, and it suddenly became really fun, and it suddenly moved its way right up to the top of my list of priorities because I just loved it so much. And here's what I can share with you about my experience with this. So when we are being intentional with manifesting, right, one of the things that we do is we set a focus on what we want to see more of, what we want to grow, what we want to bring into our reality that we're perhaps not seeing yet. And so one of the things that I did was I asked myself, for every header on my spreadsheet, how can I be intentional with this? What would I be trying to manifest here? And so I turned every column on my spreadsheet into something I wanted to manifest. So I was tracking like inquiries. I started tracking referrals. I started tracking money that was coming in. I started tracking bad debts. I started tracking marketing, like anything that I could think of. I started tracking it. And I set an intention for each column. So for example, when I was tracking inquiries, I included a row underneath the heading to explain for myself what I was trying to manifest. So I said, I set the intention to manifest 10 inquiries this week. I set the intention to manifest 30 new referrals this month. I set the intention to manifest payments of these outstanding debts coming through, right? So that's what I did. And I turned my KPI tracking sheet into a manifesting database. And it was so much fun. And guess what? The other thing that I did too was I changed the colors on it because the spreadsheet that I had, oh my gosh, it was in that masculine energy. Everything was black. And then I had these red lines where there were deficits. And it was just like, oh, like I just used to, oh, no. So I changed all the colors and I just went onto YouTube and I was like, how do I make a pretty spreadsheet? And I put photos behind it and I put pastel colors everywhere and I put little stars that sparkle, and it just became something that I got to enjoy doing. Like I didn't even have to remind myself to do it. It was like every Sunday morning, I knew that I was going to be tracking my data from, the Monday to the Saturday or the Sunday to the Saturday before. And it just became so much fun because I wanted to see what I'd manifested. And here's the thing, whatever you focus on grows. So guess what happened to my business? Right? And that's even what happened here. So here I'm talking about, now I'm just digressing a little bit, but taking over that Counselling Connect Australia group was something that was manifested. I set the intention, it wasn't that long ago, I set the intention for this year, for 2022, and one of my intentions was to exponentially help more people than I'd been helping. And I wanted to do that in a way that was less restricted. I wanted to do that in a way that felt right for me. And I knew that I could be capable of doing it because I'd created this other group, the Australian Counsellors in Private Practice Online, and that group was just doing so well. Every single day, getting messages in my inbox from members of the group saying thank you so much for creating this space, seeing the comments, seeing the support that they give each other, seeing them share their wins, seeing them ask for help, seeing it's just a high vibe in that group, and everybody who's in there feels it, and it's so good. And I wanted to be able to share that part of me, that vision that I had of helping more and more people in a way that honored where they're at in their journeys, in a way that honored their profession, in a way that honored their experience, in a way that honored their goals, their souls, who they are and what it is that fulfills them. And I had no idea how I was going to do that. But you know what? When you're manifesting, your job is not the how. Your job is to set that intention and then take aligned action. Okay, so what did I do in terms of my aligned action? Well, I simply just started connecting with people, and I was looking at collaborations at the time, and because I wanted to make all these beautiful collaborations for the ACPPO people, right? And so I'd started putting collabs in place, and so we could do one in February, March, April, May, June, July, all these collaborations that are going to be super helpful for that group. And then what happened was just out of the blue, I had this conversation with the previous admin, and this is how it all happened. So it's all by setting your intention and not worrying about the how, but taking aligned action. And this is the process that I use today to track my key performance indicators in my private practice, and it works. Okay, when you get excited about looking at your numbers, guess what? Your numbers are going to improve. They can't not, because what happens is this focus becomes in the front of your mind. It becomes in the forefront of your mind. And then you start taking aligned action to try and manifest that focus. And then you just let it go. And then the next week, you're going to come back into your spreadsheet, if you're tracking in a spreadsheet, and you're going to have a look in there, and you're going to write down your numbers, and you are going to see improvement or something better, right? Maybe you're tracking something and the numbers dip. But guess what? That's happening for you, because guess what? The numbers are going to come up somewhere else. It's not your job to worry about the how, but it is your job to focus on manifesting your intention. And you need to really, really, really connect into why you want that thing. So if you're setting an intention around calling in more inquiries, don't write in your spreadsheet, I set the intention to call in more inquiries. I mean, you can do that, but go further, like connect it to why you want to do that. And you don't have to put down what you think I want to hear or what's socially acceptable. You can put down something related to your shadow value, but the important thing is that you're honest with yourself. No one's going to see your spreadsheet. So if you want to say something like, I set the intention this week to manifest 5 new referrals because I need the business, or I want to help more people, or I want to hit my income goal for this week, you can absolutely do that. That's totally fine. You've got to have that reason, okay? That reason is what is going to connect you to the absolute, the outcome, to the manifestation. So here's what I want you to do. I want you just to, and you don't have to do it in Excel. Honestly, you don't. You don't have to set this up for yourself either. You know what? When I first set up my spreadsheet, I did it through Fiverr. Fiverr is a website where they have freelancers that will do tasks for you. So you can just jump into Fiverr. It is spelt 5, like the number 5. And then there's 2 R's on the end. So it's FIVER. counsellors.com. Jump into there and type in Excel spreadsheet and see if there's somebody who can make you a spreadsheet. And here's a secret, well, not a secret, a tip rather. A tip would be, have a look elsewhere for one that you really like the look of, because if you don't, well, you want to have that harmony, right? That balance between the masculine and the feminine, right? So the masculine side of this task is going to be getting the structure in place, getting the columns and the headers and all of that stuff sorted out, right? And the formulas, we need to have that there. But don't just leave it there, because then you're not going to enjoy it, because it's going to feel like you're not fully connected to it. So we have to also introduce the feminine energy, and that's where it looks creative. It's pretty, it's colorful, it looks nice, it feels safe, whatever it is. Okay. So think about if you got to create the most fun looking, the most joyful looking spreadsheet in the whole world, what colors would the headings be? Would there be a background? Would there be visible lines everywhere, or would they be hidden? You know what I mean? Or would it be self-calculating? Think about all that kind of stuff, and that becomes your job description, right? So when you jump into Fiverr, or you could even use Airtasker, that's another one, airtasker.com. You can approach people who create spreadsheets, and you can say to them, this is what I need. Here's a screenshot. I want it to look something like this. I found this one online. I want it to look something like this. You could get your brand colors, your RGB codes or your hex codes from Canva, and you could share them with the person who's going to make your spreadsheet for you. You could say, I want the headings to be in this color. I want the subheadings in this color. I want the numbers in this color, whatever it is. Okay. If you want Giphies in there, get them put in, whatever it takes to make this spreadsheet a happy space for you. And I want you also in that spreadsheet to have a space where you can celebrate your wins. You can say, oh my gosh, I manifested this. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. There needs to be something in there, a bell or a whistle, so to speak, that goes off when you manifest stuff. Yep. So tracking is super, super, super important in your private practice, because it helps you embody your values more, which is why we do this. It's going to help you embody your values and your shadow values. Not only will you increase the number of people you can help, not only will you increase your visibility or your opportunities or whatever it is that you're working on, your turnover, it will do all of those things and more, and it's going to feel amazing. I promise you. So I would absolutely encourage you to think about the things that you want to track, that you want to manifest, and start doing it. Like, get this spreadsheet set up and maybe start it in February. And just track everything, just see how you go. And you don't have to have a lot of things. So some common things that you might want to track is, if you have a goal this quarter of increasing your visibility, maybe you just track your visibility. And that might be, you have a column for Facebook followers or Facebook likes. Maybe you've got a column for Instagram likes or followers. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you've got a column for email opens and then email click-through rates, whatever it is. If you want to track sort of more businessy stuff, you could maybe track inquiries, track referrals, track your conversions. Conversion is how many inquiries did you speak with that actually then were able to book sessions? And you know what, maybe just track it for 4 weeks so that you can have a bit of a baseline, and then set new goals to manifest for the following month. So if your baseline is, over the last 4 weeks, most weeks I attracted 3.5 inquiries, then maybe you say, well, next month I want to attract 4 inquiries a week, or 4.5 inquiries per week, or whatever it is. And you will absolutely start to see improvements. You'll start to see results in your perfect for you private practice. Okay. I know, I told you it's so much fun. So much fun. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for today because this is such a big episode and I know it's really going to help you so much. Also, if you want to have a conversation about supervision or mentoring or coaching for your private practice, if you're at the point where you're needing to get some support, getting the practice going or creating success in your private practice, whatever success looks like for you, let's have a coffee. Like, just hit pause on the podcast, go down to the show notes, let's book a quick chat, half an hour chat, and we'll go from there. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to another episode. I really, truly appreciate you. And thank you so much for your support with the transitions in the groups and for showing up in the amazing and beautiful way that you all do. Thank you. Have a lovely weekend. Make sure you have a big rest and a big self-care day tomorrow. And I'll talk to you on Wednesday. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.